Welcome to the Art of Listening to Your Body podcast. My name is Jin Ong and I'm your host. I love talking about the mind-body connection and how your physical body manifests your emotional state and how this leads to living a life grounded in values and driven by purpose. Hi there. Today I'm going to be talking about the people who experience discomfort, pain and injury on one side of their body. So these are the people that come in and say, all my problems are on the left side, or my body feels weak and tight on the right side. It's interesting how people try and put logic behind this, and that is important because sometimes it can be physical or structural. But remember, this work around mind-body connection is for the people who have exhausted all of these options, and it's time to start looking at the deeper emotions that may be at play. So the logical brain of one person tells you, oh, it's because it's my dominant side, it gets overused, and that's probably why I have all these issues. Yet the logical brain of another person tells you, oh, it's because it's my weak or my non-dominant side, and that's probably why I have issues. Now, for the person experiencing this, it's not something that you generally talk about in conversation, or your friends just think, that's interesting. But as a therapist dealing with these one-sided issues, I've come to realize that structured logic and reasoning doesn't always give you the answers, and people can get caught up in this reasoning. So it's a bit of same but different. So let's look at the energy difference between the left and the right side. And you'll get used to me talking about the left and right side, but on an energetic level. So let me explain this more. The right side of your body is your masculine side, and the left side of your body is your feminine. We all have a masculine and feminine aspect. It represents the polarizing opposites that balance one another out, and we see this play out in all areas of life. So some examples of this are day versus night, hot versus cold, stress versus relaxed, sympathetic versus parasympathetic, or fight and flight and rest and digest. Or it could be training. So you train and you need to balance out with rest. So I'm going to start with the right or the masculine. Most people in Western society can relate to the energy of the masculine. The qualities of the masculine are related to being quite driven, intentional, practical, logical, analytical, and processed. Your left side or feminine is related to being creative, emotional expression, following your intuition, being passive, relaxed, and heart-centered. For right-sided issues, some common presentations are getting niggles because you're always in the doing too much, being too physical, and your body is trying to tell you to slow down. It's saying to you, let me recover. The extreme end of this is that you burn yourself out, you push far too hard, and all of those discomforts and niggles turn to mush. You were once strong on that side, and now despite all of your efforts to exercise and rehab, your body just isn't responding. It's burnt out. It gave you signs, but you weren't quite willing to listen or make the changes at that time. So your body gives you no option but to not respond how you want it. The left side or the feminine aspect is something that isn't as commonly expressed, except for in the highly creative, so the artists and the songwriters. So you can also look at discomfort on this side, trying to bring your attention to use more of this energy day to day, i.e. use your intuition, do something with creative drive, or express yourself more. Something that I often see in creatives is that they feel pretty good on the left side or their feminine side, but can have difficulty harnessing the masculine energy required to put themselves out there and have their creative flair support themselves. They resist the structure and prefer to go with the flow. So their right side can give them little tweaks to bring attention to the various issues or alert them to the fact that they need to embrace a little bit more of that energy. So it can all get quite complex, and the above are just some scenarios that hopefully helps you if you experience all your issues on one side of your body to start to get a little bit more aware of what else might be going on. So remember that the body is also broken down to different parts. For example, left-sided hip pain and left-sided shoulder discomfort tells a different story. So think about it. Do you have issues on one side because you're too much in the feminine or too much in the masculine? And have you actually worn it out or burnt it out? Or is it that your feminine or masculine is giving you some discomfort to give you a nudge to use more of that energy and remind you that it's there to be used? The way your discomfort presents can give an indication as to whether you're pushing too hard or not nurturing enough. But deep down, you probably know what the issue is. Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you enjoyed it and want to hear more, please subscribe and share this with your friends. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. My handle is The Art of Listening to Your Body. If you're interested in getting started with a foundational exercise, head to my website, planningpowerhouse.com, and grab your free core values worksheet.